Hello all. Welcome to the course Azure Data Factory in Azure Data Engineering. So now in this lecture, let us try to understand what is integration runtime. So this is one of the important concept whenever you are running any pipeline or data flow. So let us try to understand what is this one and different types. What does it mean actually? So before going to see, please like, subscribe and share the video. So if you see the definition of the integration runtime, so integration runtime, so IR in short we can call, is a compute infrastructure. This is the very important term we must remember. Okay. So by Azure Data Factory, ADF or Synapse Analytics. Okay. So to provide the data integration capabilities such as data flows and data movement across different networks actually. Whenever running any pipeline or any data flow or data movement, if you are performing, okay, if you are performing data movement, so definitely in the background, there must be a computation infrastructure. So computation infrastructure is nothing but like a process, memory, all these things, bandwidth, all these things, network, all these things is required actually. So who is actually in the background supporting is, that is integration runtime. So that's why in short, you can call as it is a computation infrastructure for Azure Data Factory or Synapse Analytics. So where you are able to do data flows or data movement across different networks. That may be a on-premise to the cloud or cloud to the on-premises, private to the public or public to the private or API endpoints, whatever that you are able to do the data flows or data movements. That is because of the integration runtime, which is supporting in the background. So now let us try to understand different types of integration runtimes. So here totally we have three types of integration runtimes. One is Azure integration runtime, so which is also calling as auto resolve integration runtime. Okay, auto resolve integration runtime and self-hosted integration runtime and Azure SSIS integration runtime. So let us try to understand them individually one by one. So here if you see Azure integration runtime, which is calling as auto resolve integration runtime. So in this diagram, try to understand this is the Azure, which is the cloud actually. So here we have a data factory. Observe the different services or elements we have here. So now here if you observe Azure integration runtime, the IR which we are discussing now is positioned here. So just try to understand by using this, you can move the data across blob storage or ADLS or SQL database or Synapse. Okay. So from there to private virtual networks. So this is what Azure integration runtime is able to do from the diagram actually. So that's what you can see, which is managing by the Microsoft and all patching, scaling, maintenance of the underlying infrastructure is taken care of. So patching is going to take care by this one. Scaling is also going to happen, auto increase or decrease the resources whenever required. And the maintenance is going to done by this actually. The IR can only access data stores and services in the public networks actually. So this is actually auto resolve integration runtime, also calling as Azure integration runtime, which is actually a default one. So we will see practically also. And the next integration runtime is self-hosted integration runtime. So let us see what is self-hosted integration runtime. So here you can observe where it is located actually in the diagram. So this is what self-hosted integration runtime. So the self-hosted integration runtime mainly it is working between on-premises to cloud or private networks actually. It use infrastructure and hardware managed by you. So the meaning here is if you understand the previous IR, so that is auto resolve integration runtime. So that is managed by Microsoft actually. That means computation infrastructure is providing by the Microsoft in the background. But here for this, the computation infrastructure, the CPU, required CPU, memory, bandwidth, all these things are going to provide by your own servers actually. So that you are providing, that is what it is saying, infrastructure and hardware managed by you. Okay. So you will need to address all the patching, scaling, and maintenance. So you are going to maintain everything actually. So the IR can access resources both in public and private networks. So that's what actually. So between on-premises to public clouds or public networks, you can exchange the data actually. So by using self-hosted integration runtime. So simply what we can say it is between, especially between on-premises to any other public network, if you want to exchange the data, if you want to transfer the data, or between virtual machines, if you want to move the data, so you can use the self-hosted integration runtime. And the another one is, if you see in the diagram also, that is Azure SSIS integration runtime. So this is especially for lifting and shifting the SSIS packages actually. So these are the virtual machines running the SSIS engine, which allows you to natively execute SSIS packages actually. So even if you see the diagram also, so this is a virtual network. So, and this is a sub network. In that you are going to have a SSIS package in IR actually. So this is going to move the data between SQL Server and other virtual networks. But especially to run the SSIS packages, you are going to use this particular IR. Okay. So of course, this is also managing by the Microsoft. And as a result, all the patching and scaling and the maintenance is taken care of actually. Okay. So now if you see all of them at one place, of course, this is also between going to work both in public and private networks. Okay. So if you see the all differences at one place, so if you see in the public network, what it is supporting, so data flow it is supporting, that means you can perform the data transformations, you can perform actually, and data movement is going to happen. So that meaning is data you can move from one location to another location actually. And another thing is activity dispatching. So here activity dispatching means dispatch and monitor the transformation activities running on the variety of computer services. So it is like Azure Databricks, HD Insights, machine learning classes actually, or Azure SQL database. So all these things, for all these things, activity dispatch you are going to use. In the Azure Auto Resolve Integration Runtime, these three you can perform. Not only in the public, in the private also, those three you can perform. That's what you can just observe by using Auto Resolve Integration Runtime. But in case of self-hosted, you can perform data movement and dispatch activity, but you cannot perform data flow activity actually by using self-hosted. Only just lift and place the data actually. So that means extract and load the data. Transformation, it's not possible even in the private network also. So, and when it come to the Azure SSIS IR actually, so SSIS package execution in both actually, it is not going to work for any other activities. It is purely for executing the SSIS packages. So now let us see all these integration runtimes in the portal actually. So this is the Azure Data Factory. So in the Azure Data Factory, if you go to the manage option, go to the integration runtimes. So here you see this is by default is available IR actually. So this we haven't created. Whenever the moment you created the data factory, this came automatically, auto resolve integration runtime. That is what Azure integration runtime. So which is type is Azure, public, running, and these are all the related information actually. Suppose if you want to create any other integration runtime, see you have self-hosted integration runtime or Azure and Azure SSIS packages. So how to create self-hosted integration runtime or how to do this? Let us see these things in the upcoming classes. Okay, in the consequent classes actually. So here I'm just trying to show you all available IRs within the portal actually in the data factory especially. Okay. So if you click on this further, go to the continue. So this is actually Azure again, auto resolve integration runtime. Now this is for self-hosted integration runtime. So this is what actually Azure integration runtimes especially, it is providing the computation infrastructure for running your pipelines or data movements or data flows, whatever is required. So mainly we have three integration runtimes. One is Azure integration runtime and self-hosted integration runtime, and last one is Azure SSIS integration runtime. So hope you understand this concept clearly. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe and share the video.